I learned my letters in a few days, standing by Aunt Hannah's knee while she pointed them out with a pin, skipping from them to words of 2 syllables, and thence taking a flying leap into the New Testament. My sister Lydia and I had our stint, so much work to do every day before we could go outside and play.
New England children, like Lucy Larcom, were apprenticed early to the householder's tasks. By the time she was 5, Lucy knew everything about making and sewing fabric. She learned how to repair worn-out cloth by making samplers of darning stitches. New England women made everything by hand. They even called their homes manufactories.
I think it must have been at home that I got the idea the chief end of woman was making clothing for mankind. I lifted up my eyes from my father's heels one morning and mused, how tall he is. How many thousand stitches there must be in his coat and pantaloons. And I suppose I have got to grow up and have a husband and put all those stitches into his coat and pantaloons. Oh, I never can do it.
Lucy grew up in a small Massachusetts whaling village. Her father was a captain on a whaling ship and stamped his logbook when whales were sighted. He was sometimes at sea a year or more.
The sea was our nearest neighbor. Almost every home had its sea tragedy. I remember how my mother watched for my father at the window of our old home.
Women made something beautiful out of months of waiting and worry. They did not know if their husbands would ever come back. They followed them to sea with quilt patterns that mirrored the unknown waters. Mariner's compass, ocean waves, world without end. Ship of life. One woman inscribed these words on her quilt with indelible ink. The great ship of life, gliding over the sea of time, bound to the shore of eternity, her anchor cast on the rock of ages.
A child does not easily comprehend even the plain fact of death.
Lucy was 10 years old when her father died. Her mother was left with 8 children to support and few choices in the world. So the widow Larcom moved her family up the Merrimack River to the new mill town of Lowell, where her children could find work in the mills.
On Monday morning when she comes in, she hangs up her coat on the highest pin, turns around just to greet her friends, crying high.
Lucy was 11 when she became a doffer in the mill.
I did not want to be a burden to anybody, so I went to work with a light heart. It was my task, with the other girls, to change bobbins on the spinning frames.
The mill girls came from farms all over New England to run the machines that replaced the work they used to do at home. The mills promised cash wages and broadened horizons, and the girls' days were now given over to the clock.
Since I have wrote you, another payday has come around. I earn $14.50.
The folks think I get along just first rate.
The thought that I'm living on no one is a happy one indeed.
Don't
to
I
me.
feel independent of everyone?
I feel so good to send another dollar home and know I am helping my poor mother.
I have never worked so hard in my life, but perhaps I shall get used to it.
The mill girls were working 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. But by the 1830s, there was too much cloth on the market and prices dropped. The mill owners cut wages and increased the operating speed of the looms. Girls like Lucy worked twice as hard for less pay.
I am very tired. And it seems to me as though cotton wool was in my ears all day.
I have never felt so used up
The
as
noise
now.
of the machinery, the noise of the machinery. I have discovered that I could accustom myself to the noise so that it became like silence to me. I defied the machinery to make me its slave. It seems to me that going home is where I wish to be every day.
One mill girl wrote about her quilts in the Lowell Offering, a literary magazine published by the factory girls.
How I prize my album patchwork. To me, it is a bound volume of hieroglyphs, each of which is a key to some painful or pleasant memory. I remember one fragment in particular. It was a delicate sea moss pattern, a fragment of a dress belonging to my dead sister. When I looked at it, I always saw her face before me.
The mill girls wove two kinds of cloth at Lowell. One, a cotton calico used for dresses and quilts, and the other, a rough, sturdy fabric, slave cloth, which was shipped south to clothe the slaves. In the 1830s, women simply did not speak in public. So when Angelina Grimke, a Quaker abolitionist from South Carolina, spoke at Lowell, the mill girls turned out in droves to listen.
I recognize no rights but human rights. This is part of the great doctrine of human rights and can no more be separated from emancipation than the light from the heat of the sun. The rights of slave and woman blend like the colors of the rainbow.
Oh, do you know her or do you not? This new
The mill girls added their names to the thousands of signatures on a petition to abolish slavery.
and she elts her daughters at a
After 10 years in the mill, Lucy left to become a teacher and writer.
I weave the livelong day. I weave to win my daily bread. But ever as I weave, the world of women haunteth me. Afar, by sunnier streams, my sisters toil with foreheads black. Their shame, their sorrow I endure. The blot they bear is on my name, dark women slaving in the South.
Hey, baby.